Hello and welcome to the Global Health Rebellion. My name's Troy Colmer, and today I have our good guest Pia back again. So we're going to be talking some bit of controversy today about some topics that probably people don't like to talk about, um, and really whether we agree or we don't agree if the world's heading into a tyranny or not. I don't know. There seems to be a lot going on in the world, and Pia has her views, and I have my views. I was talking with Craig on the weekend, my good mate Craig. He just come back from Bali actually, and uh, and I said to him, I said, I've just come to the realization that I just I can't see any other way that this tyranny is just it's just going to come whether we try and stop it or we don't stop it. Because I think it's just too hard for people to comprehend that there are other ways out. Like if everybody come together and realize that they had this incredible power within themselves to change the world, we could easily do it, like easily, like almost overnight. But um, people just can't believe that they can have such transformational change within themselves. And so I'll give you an example, right? So I just got my results back from the sick care professionals. Do you know Pia? Oh, sorry, I better say hello to Pia first because we haven't said hello yet. Hello,
Hello.
Pia, and welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Troy. Nice to see
You
you.
know, this is number 21.
Amazing.
Yeah, so we're hooking along. We're getting a few vibes. My daughter Sarah, she's passed it on to a couple of her friends in the military, so that's fantastic. She's protecting the nation of Australia, which is excellent. uh, and um, and her partner Paddy, he's spread it out to a few people, so that's great. And Craig spreading it, and what like the idea is to God, I wish it was just so. To me, it feels like so easy that that we could change so easily. You know,
Mhm.
like it's just so easily. Like I worked with a lady the other day from South Africa, and I've got her. She sent me through a um a review. And like just after one, she's been suffering for ages, right? Of all these problems. And so like after one session, I told her, this is you're already powerful. You got all the tools. All we have to do is this, this, and this. And so after 1 hour, she's like a new person.
That's
It's just
beautiful.
like, oh, I'm thinking like it just should be so easy. Like, but yet it's so hard. I
Well,
don't know.
there's two things that you've brought up. Like you're bringing up individual change and transformation through doing the balances and doing the sessions, and then you're also talking about this global
Yeah,
transformation.
but isn't it all one and the same?
Yeah, yeah,
Because
but
it's all the same connection. Like once you because remember that after all, we've done heaps of things on manifesting already, heaps,
mhm.
but you can't manifest more than you are. Well, that's pretty well it. So if you're down and out, like it's very hard to manifest good into your life because you need to become good. So you need to become what you want to manifest. That's like the thing because it's a program.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. So and but it's not that difficult, especially for health. I tell you for health, right? I'll get back on. Sorry, Pearl. We're going to get to you in a minute. I know you're chomping at the bit to get into this, but like I was just saying about my sick care professionals, right? And oh God, they're hard work. And so, anyways, after 5 phone calls, I finally got my results. I think because they didn't believe that they didn't want to give them to me. uh, so the first thing that I did, like I think 4 years ago, 4 years might be 4 years ago, I had high cholesterol and well, high outside the range. It wasn't high, but it wasn't far off getting medication. So I did a little bit of research. All right, it's all I have to do is eat, a bit more alkaline food and this and that, and that'll come down. Sure enough. created a belief that I've got good cholesterol. And next thing you know, my cholesterol for the last 4 years, perfect. And then my PSA levels could, because men have their prostates. They we're told that we're going to, if we live long enough, well, that's what we'd die of, is prostate cancer. So it's already programmed into us. And so my PSA levels been going up, So I was like way outside the level. I was like 3 is the normal level, and I was 5.7. So I was nearly double the limit, and had to go do all the tests and all the stuff. And I went, oh, and to get to get your, I know, P, it's not for a girl, but like, but for a man, like that's a big deal, Yeah, to lose that your prostate's a big deal.
Mhm.
And so I just refused it. I went, nah, that's not on. So I just created a belief. Like I didn't really change. I haven't really changed my food. My food's the same. All I did was just change my belief that my prostate is, I've got perfect prostate, and that's my PSA is 0. Anyway, so last year when that went under a little bit, I was down to 5.4. And then this one I'm down to 3.1. Like I'm almost back into 3. I'm almost back to a normal level for probably my age. I'm not sure.
Mhm.
But and not, I just see it keep going down. And but the sick care professionals, he didn't say, oh, Troy, how did you do? Like, he knows I've got no medication, no nothing. Oh, how have you done that? They don't ask you. No one asks you, you know. They just, because it's all about the sick care system. Oh, it rolls me up so much, the sick care system. I really,
Mhm.
yeah, it really annoys me. Like, and so getting off that, that getting, it's in conjunction with that, I should say, is that people have, this is why I keep saying to everybody, they have this ability to um, change their health. And then once they change their health, and then everything else starts to go okay. I mean, the money side of it's still, because you have to participate within their system. So then you still have to know all the rules to participate in the system. But for health, like, that's your system. Like, you can take full charge of that. So you can take full control of your whole health system outside of the whole of their sick care system with
Mhm.
none of their control. Like, that's the one thing that you can have full control over with, but
Mhm.
people still, they go, oh no, well, no, it's not possible. So I don't know. I'm just, uh, I really thought that it would be so much easier that I could just show people, and even like this other lady that I helped the other day, I'm helping people in real time to show people that they don't have to suffer, like, especially like trauma and things like that. That's like overnight. Like, you don't, that's 0 tablets, nothing, you know? Oh, anyway, so
I heard an expression the other day, but I should have written it down because it was absolutely brilliant, and I meant to look it up actually and find out what was behind it. But it was what speaks to what you're talking about right now, which is, even if we had the intelligence to change, we couldn't be bothered, right? Most people, even though they have
yeah,
the intelligence to change, they can't be bothered. So, um, like when I hear you talk, Troy, it's interesting because you have done a lot of stuff on manifesting, and we've talked a lot about manifesting, and you're bringing up something completely different, or maybe something that needs to preempt the what do you want to manifest conversation, and that is the belief that we have the power, right?
yeah,
That to instill the notion that, hey, I am responsible for my world. Like, we've outsourced the responsibility to the sick care system, to the financial system. Like, there's all these systems in place where we become a victim of circumstance and we just like float along in life instead of going, hang on a second, this is my life, it's the only one I've got, what am I looking to create in that space, right? And you have the evidence from your experience now to see how fast things can change because your life has changed doing these techniques. But if other people don't have that evidence, because as you said, you have to become something else to manifest it. And when you're working on creating something in your life, yet your surroundings is still selling you something different, all right? you're like, hey, I can manifest anything. I'm going to manifest a new house. And you're still living on the street. There's that constant reminder, which brings up some anxiety. And then it actually makes manifesting what you want harder because you're looking at evidence that you can't, because it takes a while for the energy to catch up to the thoughts and the feelings in the manifestation process. It's getting faster. That time frame is getting faster. So changing that perhaps, and we can tie this in to your early conversation about the, global awareness and the individual awareness, and shifting from, okay, instead of like how to manifest, it's just like, okay, shifting it. Maybe the conversation needs to be about self-responsibility and something so simple to say, okay, I am the common denominator of my life. And wherein did I cause X, Y, and Z to happen in my life? Because you can't change something that you don't take responsibility for having created in the first place.
Yeah, it is. It is a difficult one,
Right.
but
So
because there's a time element to it.
yeah,
That's the thing.
there is a time element and there's a lack of responsibility element, right? We're outsourcing our responsibility to different things, right? But if you say, okay, wherein did I cause, you can do the lack of health, wherein did I cause my lack of finances, wherein did I cause this mistreatment or that mistreatment or victim this or abuse that, or wherein did I cause this? And I'm not saying self-blame, that's very different. It's just that who am I being to create this, and how do I shift that? Right. And it's a difficult thing to get to, a very, very difficult thing to get to just go, I did this, right? But you can't change it if you haven't acknowledged doing it in the first place. Like, I'll give you an
Yeah.
example, right? So I was in the film industry for a long time in Vancouver. I hated the film industry, hated it. Right?
Just saying.
Me and it didn't get along. Me and Vancouver didn't get along. It wasn't good. I alluded to that before. And so for the last, it's my 10th year in the industry, and I tried to get out of it, and I'd left Vancouver and I'd come back and I left and I tried different things and yada, yada, yada. And I realized that every morning, like every night I was going to get bed, getting pissed off that I had to get up in the morning and go to work for 12 hours. And every morning I'd get up to my alarm, resentful that I had to get out of bed and go to work. And all day long I was resentful that I was doing this. And I'm like, so I just shifted it and I just went, whoa, no one's making me, no one's holding a gun to my head. No one is making me get out of bed and go to work, right? So I started doing this self-talk. And I get up in the morning to the alarm and I'm like, okay, my alarm just went off and I am choosing to get out of bed now. Look at me choosing to get into the shower. Here I am choosing to put on these work clothes and choosing to get in my car and drive to work at 6 o'clock in the morning, right? And I turned the whole thing around. Everything that I was doing every day, all day was my choice. And then suddenly the work dried up and I was out of the film industry, right? Different doors opened and the film industry closed because I didn't want that. I wanted to create something new. So in behind everything that I was doing, there was a dire desire for something else. But as I took responsibility for creating what I didn't want, I was empowered to create something that I did. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah.
So without self-responsibility, without being responsible for our lives, we're going to go nowhere. We're going to continue to be victims of circumstance. We're going to, and we're not going to be empowered to see choice and see possibilities because all we see around us in the physical is the same thing we saw yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm hearing you. But I think because I have had experience of manifesting by myself and then manifesting when you're with other people, because then they're in the circle.
Yeah, you have a mastermind of more than one. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then but even if they're not going in the same direction as you, then say your partner, and then you've got all the other things that are on in line with it as well. That's what I think. That's where it makes, because everything adds up. Like all the bits and pieces come together.
Mm-hmm.
To say, like, I'm just looking at, say, for instance, because I know I talk about when I manifested the my emblem, and when I got booked and all that, and then it will come to me.
Yeah.
Like it was within a couple of hours. Like I manifested that quick. It was ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
was because it was just me. And then I didn't have any, I was open to receive anything to get
Mm-hmm.
me to, I didn't even know that that was going to be a thing. And so um, there was nothing in the road of that. And I think if it's just you by yourself, yeah, I think that's a different thing again. Like if you've got family,
And they want something different.
yeah. So
Yeah.
because the kids are manifesting with you, the kids are trying to manifest something. Their
Mm-hmm.
wife, or for my instance, it's a wife, is trying to manifest something, and then I'm trying to manifest something, you know. So then, but we're all in one unit,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So the manifestations are getting pulled in all directions.
Well, if you start going to specific ones, if you're just going to more generic ones of life being office and awesome and everybody getting exactly what they need for their best and highest good, because sometimes we don't know what that is. We think we do, but we don't. But yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. Like I had to go through a phase where I couldn't tell anybody my dreams and aspirations because I felt like as soon as I opened my mouth and told somebody, right, if that person that I told didn't have my best and highest, then there was a sabotage there.
Yeah, well,
Right.
that's one of the secrets is you can't tell anyone.
But it's so much more powerful, as you've just said, if you do get other people enrolled.
Yeah, but yeah, you have to make sure that they've got zero um, intention
Attachment or
against that.
commitment. Yep, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah,
So you just be careful. And that's a tricky one. That's a really, really tricky one. I haven't had to experience it for a long time, but I do remember the um sabotage. And it's unconscious things that people do. Like you can't blame anybody. It's just that unconscious thing. If I don't want that, or they don't want that, or whatever it is. And so but if you surround yourself with people that really want what's best for you and your highest, and you want what's best for
yeah.
them,
So
then
the environment is a big thing.
it can be until you get strong enough. Once you're solid and strong and clear in who you are,
Yeah,
then it gets easier. But then your environment changes naturally, I think.
but I
Have
think
you,
that's why the car spots are generally pretty easy. Is because it's just you. It's just you in the car, you know?
but manifesting a car spot is exactly the same as manifesting the car that goes in the car spot. It's the same as manifesting
Yeah,
something.
but um, I think, yeah, and that is true to an extent. But if you've got a family and they're trying to manifest a different car, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So we're all in that. I think this is where the whole thing breaks down is because all the family, if you're in a family, um, yeah, we all need to be on the same wavelength.
Well, and that brings up a whole different conversation, I think, Troy, outside the manifesting conversation. I don't know if we want to go down that conversation right now. But I don't know if you've noticed or anybody watching has noticed, but like there's a lot of breakups happening right now, right?
I think it's the highest ever in the world. That the highest amount of separations that has probably ever happened. And
Yeah.
I know this is a little bit off topic, but I spoke about this in a previous podcast, but I heard some young boys on a podcast they're going, "Oh, that should be all right for my first wife."
Yeah, you said that. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I think that was with you, and I went,
yeah.
"What the hell?" Like, our society is yeah, it's
Digressed.
well, yeah. That's like, why bother? Why don't even bother getting married? Like, don't
Yeah.
even bother with it.
Um, the reason that they brought up the rates of separation and stuff is, I guess it goes back to that original statement that you made is, are we going to hit doomsday? Like, are we doomed just to have everything happen? And I see the world as a little bit different in that, yes, they're going to keep trying to do this stuff, the powers that be.
Mm,
Um, but the consciousness of the planet is raising, right? And if the world is detoxing or we're detoxing individually, anything that's not based, like wherever you're not frequency aligned, it's going to fall away. So if it's not based on truth, you no longer have room for it in your life. So we're having to let go of a lot of things. We're having to say goodbye to a lot of people. Like I've had to, we've all had to in COVID. It's been weird, but um, I'm watching it in my life, like based on, our little 7-day challenge that we talked about last
Yeah.
week, and how that impacted me this week. And I'm just watching it and going, wow, like it was in my face this week of just what's frequently aligned and what isn't. And, the discernment of, is this for me to delete, or is this the path forward? And, that can only be, that's an individual thing of how to answer that. But with people and with things, I truly believe, like, you can, if you're here in a friendship, right, and then somebody's growing and they're moving wherever they're going and the other person's not, like, there's only so much pulling up that you can do, right? In
Yeah.
fact, they pull you down. And if you look at a drowning victim, like, that's the first thing they say is, don't let the drowning victim drown you, because you're both going to end up drowning.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying all these people that are different frequencies are drowning, although some of them are in a manner of speaking. But how much of your prana, of your energy, of your life force can you give to your environment to try and save people, right? Like, you're seeing it on the streets with, like, here in Melbourne, there's still people rallying and trying to wake people up and trying to convince people of this and banging on their heads. It's like, how much of your energy do you want to give? And I see them swallowing them up. And I'm like, where are you? Like, you're gone into the war. And so they've lowered themselves and are underwater to save what they perceive as a drowning victim, right? But that person's choosing not to swim. So, like, at
Yeah,
some
but that's the realization that I've come
point,
to and I like that analogy where the victims decided
to not swim.
no, they're not going to swim, and
Yeah. You
I've
can't save anybody else. You can't save the world. And I've said that to you tons of
yeah,
times. I don't think we're here to save the world. I think we're
yeah,
here to experience it.
but it's the thing is, like that's our life too, that's going, like
Uh,
because
is it?
the yeah, well, I don't know. Well, if all the stuff comes in, well, you have to be in the system. It's just like you can choose not to be in the cash system, but then, like, how do you eat? You have to participate at some stage. You have to participate in the system at
But
some level.
you can participate in it and have it and not be at the effect of it. Right.
So explain your explain your rationale there.
So, like, I go out and I have to buy my food, and money comes in from I don't even know where these days. So I'm very fortunate because I've shifted that. Um, but it's like your phone, right? Like, you can use or the computer. It's a tool. You can use it or it can use you. So the system's in place. There has to be a system in place. We have to have the ability to trade. We have to have the ability to transact. The one that we're in is broken. Fair enough. But it's the one that we're in. So we can transact in that without getting all caught up you know, in the ugly of it. Right. That expression of be in the world but not of it. Just participate in things but not be at the effect of it. So it doesn't override your strength and your power. Because ultimately we are more powerful than all of it. Right. And I think my belief is, and do with this what you will, because I know I'm a little out there, right? I'm good with it. But, if we live in a construct, which I think we do, and it's all mathematical and it's all very perfect, and there's a lot of decoders that I follow and everything to say what's going on, then those of us that don't touch the sides, that aren't at the mercy of their world and aren't victims to what they're looking at creating, we're the errors in the computer. We are the ones that they don't want us here. The computer will not want us here because we don't work. It's like the hypnotist pulling 20 people up on stage. If everybody's going to see a hypnotist, right? For entertainment purposes, not for healing purposes. They pull 20 people up on stage and they send like 6 or 7 of them back to their chairs, because not everybody can be hypnotized. And they do these little tests to see who can be hypnotized. So we're the ones that can't be hypnotized, right? So nobody wants us on the stage. So it's our get out of jail free card. It's like, we don't need to be in the broken system. We might not be on this planet, We might go wherever we go after this, but we don't need to be here anymore. And that's not a bad thing, I don't think. But that's just because I'm not afraid of those things.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It is a little bit harder, I think, for me because, I got 3 children and well, hopefully one day, we'll have grandchildren. And so it's sort of like, if it was just me, I probably wouldn't give a shit.
Mhm.
I don't think I would. I think I would just go, like, I don't really care what all you people think. but,
Yeah,
but it's, I'm,
I do. I
I
do
want a
know.
future for me, for my children, and also want a future for their children, because they, they deserve to have some sort of future. And I just look around and think, like, all the things that I used to be able to do when I was younger, like, you can't do them anymore.
Yeah, but you can do different things.
I know, but the different things are getting less and less.
Yeah. It's our attachment. And I'm being really philosophical here, and it's probably sounding cold. And I don't mean to do that because I get where you're coming from, Troy,
Yeah.
100%. He doesn't want what's best for the kids and want the grandkids, and I get all that. 100%. And it's not wrong to want that. And then there's this whole other philosophical side that says, well, if we're here to experience life in this realm, whatever that happens to be,
Mm.
um, then let's experience it as it is, not as we want it to be, right? John Lennon, like, life is what happens while you're making plans, right? My definition of suffering, and I think I told you this, is wanting things to be different than they are, right? If you can sit and be with what is and be present to the moment, then you're not really worried about what happens tomorrow, because I think we spend a lot of time, especially through COVID, worrying about things that might happen, right? And they don't happen. And
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
takes us
Yeah.
out of the present. And if we're not in the present, we don't know where we are in space time, and we're not in the present moment, then boom, you might as well not even try and manifest, because you're not in the present moment. So you're trying to manifest while your energy is in the past, while your energy in the, like, it doesn't make sense. What did I say? That's so funny.
Oh, you just crack me up here. You crack me up. But I think I feel like I get frustrated because, like, the out is so easy. You know,
Yeah.
that's the bit that frustrates me, is that, like, it's so easy, like unbelievably easy. Like, I can't even say how easy it is that
Mhm.
people could, and especially if, like, imagine if you had a whole community. Say, like, I live on the Central Coast. There's like 300,000 people here or something.
Mhm.
Like, imagine like 300,000 people, like, all living in their space, and then the sick care system would be null and void because no one would need it. Like, the
Mhm.
hospitals would be empty, and the people would be walking around smiling and laughing, and
Mhm.
like, it would be that great. Like, to me, it's just, that's the bit that I struggle with, is that, like, it's just that, like, it's not hard at all. Like, it's like,
That's you having experienced it and you having known that. And so now it's like, okay. So if I was listening to you say it's that easy, and
yeah,
I was my, you know, version of myself that was still in my 20s or something like that,
yeah,
knowing intellectually that it's supposed to be easy and not having had experiences, right? Or having had sporadic experiences of it being that easy, right? And so there's this disconnect with people's belief systems because they don't yet believe that it can be that easy. So you're sitting there
yeah,
and
yeah. I know, and that's the frustrating thing, isn't it?
and that's why I say let's go back to, instead of working on manifesting now, like, maybe the conversation is, who are we, right? And who's responsible for our lives, right? and shift from what you know today that you didn't know 10 years ago, right? And the people that are watching, like, what have they not experienced yet that you can give them as an experience so that they find it easy too.
But that's what I'm trying to show them. It's just like, I'm trying to give them all the tools to say, this is just A, B here. Do A, B, and C, and have a look and watch it unfold.
So
Like,
that's
it's just,
like your 21-day challenge. Boom, takes Troy's 21-day challenge.
yeah. But, it's just like, uh, but even just, you get your health in order, like, it can be that quick. Like, you can change your reality. I mean, financial reality is a lot different because, um, you're participating in the system. That's been my fanning, but and I know that that's because you believe it. Yeah, I understand what you're saying,
Mm-hmm.
but when you again, what I'm saying is that when you have a business and then you have family and you have all these other bits and pieces and mortgage and like all the stuff that all contributes to the manifestation.
And it's all designed by the FEBs, as you call
The
them,
FEB, yeah,
to keep you out of your power and to
that's
keep
right. 100%. That's 100% correct.
so then I get it. It's hard, and I was there, and well, without not the family stuff, but I was definitely there in that slave system of having to work and being too exhausted to do things and yada yada yada. But but that's not the truth of how powerful you are, right? So if you're going to speak to how powerful you are, and I'm not talking about you, I'm just talking like the royal you and everything, right? Then if we're going to talk about our innate power, then we can't do it in the same sentence as we are at the mercy of.
Yeah,
Then I go back to my conversation about being in the film industry, right?
yeah,
Like I have a massive story. I can tell you the story about how I got into the film industry and how I got stuck and the golden handcuffs and all that shit and how expensive Vancouver was and oh my god, everything else paid less, like 2/3 or 2/5 of what I did, and I had to do it because I wanted. Yeah, I can go into the story of that, and it'll be very much I was at the mercy of the system,
yeah,
right? Until I chose not to be at the mercy of the system, right? My finances didn't lessen, like my opportunities didn't lessen. They just came from somewhere else. You know, I just had to be willing to let go of that so that something else could come in. Because every day when I went to work, I was demonstrating to the universe that I was okay with what I had and I wasn't doing anything to get out of it. And my resistance to it, the anxiety that I felt was, and being in that energy was what kept away anything new.
yeah.
It's a
But
big, it's a massive. I get it. It's a right.
but again, Peter, you were easily. It was easier because you were just you.
I wasn't at that time.
But then you got rid of the other you, did you? Is that what happened? Did you have to break off the other you to get
Oh,
to break
oh, look,
free?
he likes the film industry. But, but I get what you're saying, 100%.
Because I
Like,
have experienced like very fast manifestation when I've manifested by myself.
yeah.
But I've also experienced it with other people when we've all been
On the same page.
exactly on the same page. Because I when this one time we went to on Australia Day, and we wanted to go out on this boat for the harbour cruise, and everything was sold out. So we were all manifesting to go on this boat,
Mm-hmm.
and I said, no, like I, in my manifesting naivety, well, not naivety, I suppose, but I said, well, let's just go down to the harbour and let's just go and ask a couple of the people and just see. You never know, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so one of this place we walk into, they go, oh, you wouldn't believe it. I think we had 6 or 7 people or something. No, yeah, I don't know. I can't remember now. Might have been 6. Anyway, that a group of 13 or something has just rung up and cancelled, and there's a spot right now. It's just available for you to go out on this boat, like right there and then.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what the hell? This is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
it's
how.
yes, I have experienced, but that wasn't the only thing that happened on that trip. Like there was other things that happened too. And the same thing happened when I went to South Africa. I did this, the same thing because Kerry was wanting to manifest on the same wavelength to manifest, the same as me, and Paul and Michelle were obviously wanted the best as well, and then everyone else on the trip wanted the best as well. That's how we got the huge upgrade at the Delta when we went there. We're meant to be staying in tents, and we ended up in this 5-star resort style thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like out of this world, but yeah. when everyone is on the same wavelength that you're working with, um, or by yourself, I think they're the two options.
Well,
I think then that can be different. But when you're it's you and then you have your family, um, you know.
but what my experience is that I get more of what I want when when I let others have more of what they want, right?
Yeah, but a lot of time it's in opposition. Yeah. Because what
But
they
that's
want, you're
like if
thinking,
I want to go
no,
for
I don't want
Chinese
that.
and somebody else wants to go for burgers, right? It's
Yeah.
just like everybody can still have what they want. You just kind of part for an hour and go and eat or find somewhere that has Chinese and burgers. Like there's how much what is sacrifice and what is compromise. And it's okay for people to want different things in any given moment. Like there's nothing wrong with that.
Oh no, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. No, far from it. I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that it's the manifesting side of it is harder.
So if you went instead of manifesting specific things like boat rides and restaurants and kind of things like that, right? If you went to say, I just want my best life and to express my best self and whatever shows up, and I want that for everybody around me, right? Would you be
Would
willing,
I be willing?
willing and able to receive whatever shows up and just trust
Let's
that?
so say it again, so then I can write this down and then we can try it out.
so, so,
Could be and now that's just clicked something to me that
mhm,
and that could be a possibility.
right. So just allow people to have whatever is best for them and their best and highest, and allow yourself to have the best and highest without agenda as to what that looks like. Right? Because you could have very well been in a situation where and I've seen these stories too, like you want to manifest a car ride or a taxi here or a plane there, and you don't. And then boom, right? Taxi gets in a car accident, and you might
Yeah,
not even know it was in an accident, but you were just saved from
yeah,
that,
yeah,
right? So sometimes not getting what you want is actually the best thing for you to get,
yeah,
right? It falls in line with, careful what you wish for. But so anytime you say something, and it's a bit cliche because it's out there in the manifestation world in our lives, it's just like, if it's for my best and highest, or whatever is for my best and highest. And it's for two reasons. It's one, to keep it safe for you and to keep it safe for everybody else, but also, and this goes back to what we were talking about not even being able to know how much we can create without being it and having an experience of it. But let the universe give us, like, receive something from the universe that we don't even know that we want, because it's better than we can plan it, right? It's
yeah, yeah,
I couldn't have planned the place that I live. Like I could not have asked for this and had it been this good. I wouldn't have even known this existed for me. Right. So I guess it's just keeping it open to possibility with keeping the intention of always good for everyone involved.
yeah.
And
And that now that you're saying that, it is making sense that because you're trying to get a certain thing, and that certain thing may not be.
yeah,
But well, I've gone off topic a little bit because originally my back at the start, then it was more because now we're getting down the manifesting road and how to
no,
get
because it's a bigger topic. But if we go back to saving the world,
if we go back to how easy it is.
yeah.
See, yeah, yeah, but for your health, right? Like you are, that's nobody else. Like that's just you. You can manifest the health.
Mm-hmm. But then you look at it, and this goes back to how programmable we are, right? Like if people actually believe their doctors still, right?
Yeah,
Like, because that's where the health programming comes from. It's in television shows, it's in movies, it's in like everywhere you look, everybody's going to die of cancer. All right.
yeah,
But if you're aware that that's just programming, age is just programming, illness is just programming, right? Um, then you can reprogram. But the
yeah.
thing is,
And
a lot of people believe what they've been told.
yeah, this is what I'm trying to say for you. And I'm very glad that you said all this other stuff for the other, which we'll do a little bit more on that. But just getting back to the health side of it, where you are total in control, like that is not combined. Doesn't matter if you've got a wife or a husband, if you're a lady, or whatever,
Mhm.
a partner, I should say. So it doesn't matter if you have a partner, you got children, doesn't matter. Like your health is probably the easiest of all the things to manifest into your life. So like better
It
health,
will involve reprogramming for sure. You got
to reprogram your own self
I
is
had somebody say,
because that can be
yeah,
done very easily.
I had somebody say to me the other day, right? She's doing all this bone specialty stuff and having all this stuff looked at. And she was just like, well, Pia, you know, after menopause, women, our bones we need to do stuff, we get osteoporosis. And I just went, I don't.
Yeah,
Right? And she goes, it happens, Pia, it happens. And I'm like, well, that's why you have it.
yeah,
But don't project that onto me because that's not. And she was trying to reprogram me.
yeah,
In her world, she was educating me as to what happens. And I was just a big no. And she couldn't take my no as just a, hey, I don't accept that programming. Right. And it could have potentially turned into an argument. And I just went, look, you do you, right? If you want to carry that belief and have osteoporosis because you're past menopause, and have at her.
yeah,
Right?
yeah. Take it, and and
I'm
and
not doing
add
that.
and add a cancer with it.
I'm like, I'm not picking that up. I'm not picking up what you're putting
Yeah,
down. It's not happening. But and we're taught all this hereditary stuff, right? Cancer's hereditary. And it's like, well, cancer's only been around for what, 57, 70 years or whatever, right? So what happened? It wasn't hereditary before then. So,
before the vaccines.
so it's really, that's the reprogramming. So yes, you have control, but there's that cognitive dissonance where everything that we've taught is a lie, right? And then all these people that people have trusted through their entire lives with their health, you turn around and you say, yeah, those people lied to you.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm really battling now to find anything that's not a lie. Like
Oh
every
yeah.
single thing that I have been taught or learned in my 54 years on this planet
Mm-hmm.
is I can't see. I'm trying to find something that is actually truthful.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost all just lies.
That's why you don't pay attention to it. Don't trust the sides.
Yeah, it's just like, oh my
Because if they're
God.
lying to you about that, they're lying to you about this, right? But
Yeah.
going back to the doctor thing. So I did this Silva mind control method. I don't know if you guys had that down here in Australia. I think so. But back when I was 20 or something, I did the Silva mind control method. Took this workshop, and this woman was telling this story about going to the doctor and all the kids were sick and everybody coming into the doctor was sick. And then she just went up and said, well, how come you don't get sick? And he says, well, I have immunity. And it's like, well, why don't you just teach your patients immunity instead of giving them drugs? So you got this doctor, like, or it's like mothers who don't get sick when their parents get, or when their children get sick and stuff like that. It's because, but then we're getting into germ theory and all that. But I
Yeah.
just want to share that because you don't have to be programmed with it. You just don't.
Yeah.
It is just it's programming that we are fallible, that we are weak, that we need, man-made needles in our arms to stay healthy. And it's not true. It's just not true.
Yeah. The programming is it's so, and yeah, because time, I don't know. Yeah, well, no, we've spoken about all this stuff before, the time and all that. But
Mm-hmm.
it's still very hard. Like I'm rereading the 16 Laws to Success by Napoleon Hill.
Mm-hmm.
And oh man, that book, his books are just like have so much stuff in it that like helps with your the journey of if you want to, and it's not really manifesting in well, it is manifesting in a way, but just to set your sails in the right direction,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, to understand what's possible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Even to sit in possibility when you don't understand what's possible, because
yeah,
there's so much more possible that you even realize is possible.
because we haven't been taught all those things, and there are um steps that you need to take that you don't need to, but if you want to go next level, there's steps to it. There's just different steps that you can take to um, enlighten your life even more. I think there's always growing.
Yeah. There's two things, and you brought it up a couple times in this, so we'll just circle back to it. Circle back.
Everything's a circle, pair.
This came out of my mouth. Um, just is there's the doing, and then there's the being.
Yeah.
Right. And when we are caught up in our lives as the ones that we live in, this being at the mercy of the system that we're in, then we're doing, and we're constantly in reaction, right? And when we think we're proactive, we're reacting to a system, right? When we're being, it's quite different, and that's, I think, what you were talking about earlier, about the being something before you can manifest it. So I'm reading this very small book right now by one of my favorite YouTubers called the Immortal Within. Awaken the Immortal Within, rather. Awaken the Immortal Within. And it speaks to how our bodies, this meat suit that we're in, is the product of this world, as the product of the construct. But the immortal within, which some would call soul or spirit or whatever languaging you want to use, we need to awaken that, right? So the doing is what gives us things, because our body doing things relates with the construct and can co-create with the construct. But the beingness of who we are is a very different animal. That's where possibility exists. That's where, our spirit exists. That's what leaves when we leave the world, right? That's what doesn't die when the body dies. And he talks about manifesting in that, from that spirit perspective, but yet using the body as the tool to do it, because the body's part of the construct.
Well, yeah, because we're not really our body, are we?
But we have one.
Yeah, we have it. We have the vehicle, but we can't get out of the vehicle. It's just like, well, you can, but you can't get back in.
Yeah.
Once you're out, that's the end of it.
Yeah. But when we identify so much with the body, that's when we lose the beingness. Does that make sense? Like, if we think that we are our bodies, if we think that if we relate too much to the world that we're in and not our inner world, that immortal within, then we become a product of the construct, right? Of the world, instead of maintaining our divinity.
Yeah.
And I just call that when people don't know who they are. They don't know who and where they are in space-time. Because when you know who you are, nothing can touch you. Like, I know who I am. I'm not worried about somebody trying to do something to me, because I know who I am. Even if they put a bullet in my head, I know who I am, and I'm fine,
Yeah.
But I don't think they will put a bullet in my head.
Let's hope not. Let's hope not, Pear. Otherwise, I'll have to find a new Pear for the podcast.
But like, it's like, we are not what we do, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
We are not.
Well, there's two things there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the whole
yeah.
So the whole programming from when we're schooling and all the rest of it, that's to become a human doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a being, human being.
Yeah. And we forget that we're here just to experience.
Yeah.
And this is why I don't worry too much about saving the world, because I just don't think the world is designed. It's programming, right? I don't think I can.
Well, I've come to the realization of that as well. It's just not possible.
Like, it's going to do what it's due. It's the programming is written.
Yeah.
I'm not the one that programmed it. I don't have the delete button for the entire world.
But I think the delete button is for if everybody. I mean, that's not possible. It is. There is like cheat codes. Like if you're playing a game, there's always, every single game has cheat codes in it where you can cheat the system to get to the next level.
Yeah.
Where you don't have to go through all the rubbish to try and get to the next levels. And so the cheat code for our level that we're in now is just to understand the power that you already have within you to be more than you are.
100%.
Like, but and that's I think that's the bit that frustrates me. That like I'm giving people, I'm saying these are all the things that you can do to become a better you, which will then change every single thing around you. But then they just can't believe that even that's possible, you know?
But one of the things that could change in that is your environment will change as you change. The people in your environment will change as you change. Because if you're
Yeah.
not frequency aligned, those things, sorry, I've got somebody cutting grass outside my door. Can you hear that?
No.
Okay, good. If you're not aligned in frequency, things are going to fall away. Right? It's just what happens. It's just how frequency works, right? If there is no space time and everything's happening here and now, you only see what you're aligned with. So by not touching the sides, as I say, and not giving power to the FEVs and just raising my vibration and not continuing to save drowning people, right? Then I see the FEVs less and less. Like it's just not in my, I'll give you an example. So I was doing a lot of healing work, a lot of coaching back when I was still in Vancouver, and I was coaching a friend of mine, and we were doing a lot of the equivalent of what I knew then to be balances, right? Clearing stuff. And we were like higher than a kite, right? Like just,
Yeah.
we were buzzing. And then, we decided to go get a glass of wine or a bottle of wine because that's what you do, when you're buzzing for a couple of hours, right? So where she lived, where we were, was like 3 blocks slightly downhill across the street, and there was the bottle shop, right? So we're vibrating down the street and walking along, and we can see straight shot down the hill to the bottle shop. We get to the bottom at the intersection, and I just went like this. I went, whoa, what just happened? Right? And then I see somebody lying on the ground that I didn't see before, and a car pulled up on the curb that I didn't see before. And I was just like, well, this is weird. And I walked into the bottle shop, me and my girlfriend, and the people in the bottle shop were like, oh my God, you just walked right through that. Did you see that? And we were like, what? So there was just this massive brawl, road rage, insanity. And we watched it for 3 blocks and didn't even see it.
Oh, wow.
Right?
So
Like
you're thinking that you're in another dimension.
did not even see it because
Yeah.
it was so low vibration and we were high. Like I'm just speaking to possibility here. That was my experience. But if
Yeah.
that's like, there's stuff that goes on all the time that we just don't see
Yeah.
because we're not
Yeah, you're
aligned.
right.
Right?
Yeah.
There's stuff that happens that you don't see, that you don't even know that you don't see it. There's stuff that happens that you don't like, that good stuff and bad stuff as we
Yeah.
raise our frequency, right? Good, defined as good and defined as bad, right? More dense and less dense, however you want to define it. So, so as you raise your frequency, things are going to fall away. That's my point.
Yeah.
That's okay for them to do that. Like, it's okay. It hurts. It's hard. And sometimes it's not, it comes kind of in an ugly way, but yeah.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
Yeah. But yeah. Yeah. And I've been in total agreement with everything that you've said so far. So it's not
You
like,
don't have to be. I'm good with it.
yeah. Yeah, I know. I know, Pooh.
It's okay.
You do you.
You do you.
Yeah. Yeah. But I do, it does feel frustrating, that I
What's
just
the
see
frustrating
people's,
bit for you?
pardon?
What's the frustrating bit for
I
you?
just see people's, they're struggling with things and I'm thinking, well, you don't have to. Like you could not, if you don't want to, you wouldn't have to.
Could you shift that and go, well, that's an interesting thing that you're choosing to do and just let it go?
Yeah. Well, maybe.
Just not just an idea.
Yeah. But, I just think the world could be so good. Like the world could be just so good. And, but
But everybody is going to experience the world differently.
yeah. Oh,
You
yeah, I
know,
understand.
and if you're looking at, it's like, and I agree with you. Like if everybody woke, it'd be amazing. Like it would be incredible. And I don't mean to sound argumentative or like I don't agree with you because I do. But the planet's detoxing right now, and all this nasty stuff is happening, right? And at the same time, because it's physics, this amazing stuff is happening because it has to, right?
Yeah.
Nature has to stay in balance. So for just as much shit, we have just as much good stuff.
Mm.
Where do you want to focus?
Yeah.
You're
Well,
going to focus on the shit or you're going to focus on the good stuff? Because if you
but
want an amazing life, if you want to live a life of joy, then you might just want to focus on.
but that yeah, but that's okay because you're talking to me. But um, I think people don't realize that they do have the other choice.
There's another choice.
Yeah, this is what I'm trying to say. Just please, people, please, just have a look. There are choices. There are choices outside the system. Like, just have a look. Just open up the lid on the box and go, hang on, yep, that crazy guy in Pear, that could be right. There could be another choice out there.
I don't know. I don't know. It's a big leap talking about us as physics instead of biology and a construct instead of a planet, but
Yeah,
but that's what it is, right? So yeah, there's just, and I guess that's it, Troy. That's exactly, you just said it. You just said it perfectly. Like, what do you choose?
yeah.
Life is a smorgasbord, right? It's what's his nuts on what's his nuts? It's, what was that movie? Life is like a box of chocolates.
Oh yeah. Tom Hanks.
Yeah. What are
Yeah,
you gonna choose, right?
yeah,
Mm-hmm. I know which direction I'm looking at, and I for me, I sit and I go, okay, well, if I'm going to ask for my choices and my thoughts and my beliefs to be respected, and I don't care who, you don't have to agree with me. Like nobody has to agree with me. That's not it, right? You can think I'm as crazy or whatever, but if I'm asking for that respect, that this is where my experiences has gotten me, then I have to give that same level of respect to people that are making different choices,
yeah,
right? And so that's my choice. Like I said, if you want to believe that you're going to get osteoporosis, well, that's,
yeah. You go hardest.
you don't have to.
You get it, girl. Go
We can have
after it.
a conversation about it,
You go after it.
but right,
Yeah, yeah.
like there's nothing I can do
But
there.
even when you're talking about things, well, it's just like my prostate thing. Like the sick care doctor, he had me all lined up for the knife. We're going, well, it won't be long. The numbers will keep going up, and we'll just keep an eye on it, and then,
And
you'll
there's some
just have to,
programming. Like if you believed your doctor, you'd be going home going, oh my God, my numbers are going to keep getting worse.
yeah,
And sure enough, they
yeah,
would, because that's what you're refocusing on. And there's manifestation at its finest, right? Doctor
yeah,
tells you the
and yeah, and I
numbers.
just didn't accept it. I went, no, I don't think so. That's not happening. That's not. I'm not doing that.
Mm.
Yeah, but
What's funny is going back to that conversation about astrology and stuff, or going to see card readers, and when they say something like, "Is it going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy?" Because then people are going to go out and create it. And I have a
yeah,
girlfriend in Canada, and she goes to see readers every once in a while, and if they tell her stuff that she doesn't like, she goes, "Ah, no, I'm not doing that." She just doesn't take any of it on. She's just like, "Yeah, we said that, and that's interesting, and that's where I'm going unconsciously, but I'm conscious, so I'm not going to go that direction."
yeah. But you might manifest it unknowingly. That's the thing. Once the seed's been created,
Yeah, 100%.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's why you got to be so careful. Guard your mind like a fortress.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Per, that's been another exciting conversation as usual.
Is it our hours up? Really?
Our hour's gone. I'll be pretty close.
This is fun. I like
Yeah,
this.
yeah. It's I just like the idea of you know if people could just realize they had the choice, just at least have a look at it and say, is there another choice? Is there a choice? Have I got a choice?
A different perspective, an angle you haven't looked at.
Different perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's just I know it sounds like but it does sound too hard to believe all this stuff. It does sound like because we're taught because what we've been taught. That's the reason.
But it's only because we've been taught it.
Yeah,
If you ask, why do you believe that? Right? People don't know. It's just because they've been taught it.
yeah.
So if we connect into checking in, take it for checking and ask everything, right? Different answers are going to show up. It's going to stop making sense.
And with
So
that, Pia, I think that's a great thing to finish on. Start checking in, and questioning yourself. I think that will be excellent for people to do. And thanks very much for listening. And if you do decide that you want to have a look at something else, you can come over to the Become Limitless community and join us on our quest of becoming healthy and breaking free of the system. So you can do that by going to freedomnetwork.io and click on the link there, and it'll take you straight there. But yeah, my quest is to raise the vibration. We'll give people the option to, if they want to choose it, at least at least have a look and know that, because you don't know what's possible for yourself unless you have a look. Because you may be able to, you don't know what you can do as a person. You don't know what tools, how great a manifester that you could be to what you can get in your life, or how good your life could become, because there are, I don't know, it just depends what you have in your life, that what's possible, if that makes sense. Well, thanks very much for listening. And we do these podcasts. We're trying to do 3 a week to help raise awareness to there are other things outside the system. And hopefully that if you want to help spread the awareness and give other people the option to think, if you could spread this message, it'd be fantastic. So thanks very much. And thank you to Pia. And we'll see you on the next one.